What happens when you totally surrender your future? No goals, no plans, no investing a single ounce of your attention in anything other than what is happening right now. And what happens when you do that when you're out of work and you have no idea what's next? If this had been me years ago, I would be scrambling to figure out my plan. I got kids, I got a mortgage, I can't be out of work very long before the money's gonna run out. But this is where things get interesting, because I have been in the midst of a midlife breakthrough. Breakthrough sounds exciting, and it is, but it's also hard, because at the core of it, it's a realization that the life that you're living ain't working for the person you're becoming, and that means change. In case you're wondering, a few signs that you yourself may be on the verge of a midlife breakthrough: if you feel trapped, if you feel bored, restless, depressed, anxious, chronic fatigue, chronic illness, if you've got a longing to change jobs, to change houses, to change cities, to change your wardrobe. In my case, it was like parts of my life started burning to the ground to make space for something new to emerge. But what is that new something? Early in 2025, I had a conversation on my podcast with Tammy Janelle, one of the people who I profiled in my audiobook, Spiritual Wayfinders. Months later, after Tammy heard that I was about to be out of work, she sent me this clip from our conversation. Tam, I feel like what I'm being invited to do right now in my life is to drop the future 100% and just live moment to moment. And that is actually the core, deeply universal, thematic, spiritual, soul journey lesson, if you want to call it, that is on offer that I continue to turn down. And then it keeps coming back and saying, no, but like this, like this. There it was, reflected back to me in my own voice. I've been on the verge of true surrender for a long time, but it's always come down to this question: what's going to happen if I give up past and future and just live by moment-to-moment guidance alone? Will the universe catch me? So as I'm listening to my own voice from my own podcast sent back to me, it hits me. As soon as I finish my last day of work, I am taking 30 days to live by moment-to-moment guidance alone and just see what happens. Yes, I made a plan to live with no plan for 30 days. How spontaneous of me. But here's why that made so much sense. I've felt this call to surrender in this way for years, but I have always been held back by two deeply rooted patterns in me. The first has been my clinging to material security, because when there is no income flowing in, I get squirrely, and my brain tells me if I don't focus on the future, I'm going to be living in a van down by the river.
You're going to be doing a lot of doobie rolling when you're living in a van down by the river.
My other pattern is people pleasing. Somewhere in life, I took on a belief that I am responsible for other people's feelings, which turned into decades of me doing what other people want so that I can avoid conflict and keep everyone else happy. And guess what? People don't exactly love it when you tell them that you're just living moment to moment, especially if they depend on you. But 30 days, you can do anything for 30 days, right? Here's what I expected to happen. I thought that my 30 days would be like a stay-at-home retreat, a bunch of ordinary moments of cooking and dishes, lots of the same pair of sweatpants, mixed in with loads of meditation and journaling, because introspection is key when you're integrating a breakthrough. And I did do a lot of that. But here's what I did not expect from the 30 days. Day one, I went to Tammy's to do a little ritual ceremonial burn of this letter that I'd written. When I showed up, unbeknownst to me, it turned out to be a mini reunion with 3 of my favorite people. And while I'm there, Tammy says she needs help on a video project. Would I be interested? A few days after that, I'm on a hike with a friend, and it comes up that I used to be a breathwork guide. and she asks if I might do that again. 1 week later, I'm doing a breathwork thing with a small group for the first time in 2 years. Then there was this coffee date with a friend. She just got back from a retreat where she herself had a massive breakthrough. And she tells me that I have to meet this person. And it was like another seed of some possible future. These things kept happening one after another. Did I have some massive epiphany and figure out all the next steps of my livelihood? No. Did buckets of cash rain on my head out of nowhere? Nope. I did try though. But here's what did happen. I experienced a deep happiness and sense of inner freedom. And life unfolded perfectly well without me gripping the steering wheel. But that's just 30 days, right? And the natural question is, what happens after that? Day 27, I was outside reflecting on this very question. So, man, I am cooked, like in a good way. When I went into this, my original intention was follow moment-to-moment guidance. Just being, not doing, just kind of surrendering to the here and now and allowing things to unfold in a way that's full of ease and effortlessness. And actually, I gotta say, probably the most important thing is moment-to-moment guidance is listening to your intuition. And it's been freaking powerful because my awareness is on like an 11 out of 10. And yet there's also this piece of me that was still in the future thinking about, okay, but when I come out of this, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do next. I'm going to have to solve my livelihood in some way. I think that the old pattern of trying to figure things out, of going to the mind to problem solve, was there under the surface. And so what's coming up for me now, I had a deep felt insight this morning, and the thought came up as there will be a choice point. And the choice is, do you believe that thought of I need to figure something out, or do you drop into what is real, which is there's just this, and even this is gone like that, and that gone. Gone is gone. Gone is gone is gone. Okay, dude, what he was trying to say is, will I go back to the old way of being just because 30 days is up? Or because I get squirrely and my old patterns take me over because of fears that if I don't start taking control, I'm going to end up
Living in a van down by the river.
I gotta tell you, I know some people living in vans down by rivers, and they seem happier than a lot of the high-paid corporate execs I know. One thing is clear to me. You've got this life, and it is meant to be fully lived. But the only way to really do that is to be where you are. Fully. No past and no future. I genuinely have no idea what's next. Will I get squirrely? Will I go van shopping? I like this one. If you're curious to find out what happens next in the exact same moment that I find out what happens next, then follow me, subscribe, do all the things. YouTube and Inner Freedom Podcast are going to be the best places. And maybe at some point you'll have your own breakthrough and you'll join me for real. Peace.